Welcome to the Crudcast with your host, Louis Nisimov.
Now my selector.
Oh, una bomba clad rapping.
Got school in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't want to, make you stay up too late.
How's that with the noise background?
We're good. Everything's crystal now. So Luke, one more time for us, your thoughts on your matchup versus Mike Guy this week, and just a summary of your game in total and your team going forward, since you're here for a limited time offer.
I would say my team is maybe unbeatable right now at this point, but I do need to work on running back depth. Say if someone gets injured, I'm gonna be dead in that spot, or Austin Eckler, because I don't have any good bench running backs.
And how does it feel scoring 200 plus points, the most points so far in the league?
Really good. It's my first time scoring it, so and enjoy it. Enjoy the week.
It's a lot of people's first times experiencing it.
Do you have other leagues, or is this just it?
Yeah, I'm in other leagues.
So was this your best,
best
point total out of the other leagues?
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, the receiver game is just ridiculous. I mean, because Tyreek Hill, 42 points.
11 of 12, dude. That's insane.
I mean, even Higbee's having a relatively quiet, had a relatively quiet game. And, it's just between the, it's a pretty solid game for a tight end, as long as it's not Waller, Kelsey, and Kittle.
Yeah, Luke, I would say that's the only thing you really need to work on is finding a tight end.
Yeah, I was looking on the block.
Yeah, I think Higbee is a nice option for you, though. I mean, realistically, with Stafford, I don't think it's a bad play at all, to be honest. It's nothing to sweat. You might, if you can fit somebody in on your bench, you could go for it. I've been hoarding the tight ends for the most part and trying to figure that out. If we're speaking tight ends, guys I like, as far as the waivers go, I was trying to get a hold of my mom all week, but she just wasn't listening. I like Jared Cook, who was on my team earlier, who my mom originally drafted. Then she had the Gronkowski success, so she went away from that. But I like Jared Cook. I like Higbee. Obviously, I like Dalton Schultz and Dawson Knox. Tyler Conklin's another one that I had mentioned in the pre-weekend podcast.
I heard that. Yep, I heard you mention that.
He had an okay game. It wasn't good at all, as far as what I thought he could do. But overall for the Vikings this week, they just kind of really underperformed against that Browns defense, big time. But yeah, Luke, I and if you listen also to my pre-weekend podcast, Luke, I had mentioned your running back depth. So I honestly, the way that Connor's getting a piece of that offense, I don't know, man. You might just want to roll with it, your momentum right now. I don't think that you should really be hitting the panic button by any means, but with the way that the league goes with our guys, it's always anytime's always a good time to pick up a running back. You know what I mean? So if you can squeeze them in, now that we have this really cool IR spot, I'm glad you guys voted that through, by the way. So shout out to you guys being involved with me this year and voting on that, because it sucks when you have a star player that gets dinged up and you want to keep him around. You know what I mean? And it's just, you also need a bench rotation for bye weeks and things like that. So really cool. What the hell was that?
That was an interesting play.
Here in let's call the game here. Here in the Chargers versus Raiders here on Monday night, we have a field goal that turned into
field goal punt.
Fake field goal punt, something I've never by the Chargers in the fourth quarter.
Seen that.
Yeah, just watching the replay
Direct
here.
snap to
Direct
him.
snap
Wow.
to the kicker. I like
Oh
it.
my God, dude. He could have blocked that. He was
You know
so
what? That
set.
is so cool.
That was an
Uh,
awesome play, man.
I like it.
Staley's a freaking great coach. Just like
Yeah, he
McVay.
really is, dude.
LA is set for the next decade, I think, with those two coaches.
So yeah, I don't know. Like,
So
it's just like watching a lot of football over here.
since we're talking about your team, I have the biggest scoop of Knox. Like, it's a hard Knox life,
Bruh.
for real.
Thank you. Bruh. Thank you for talking about that, because did you see like how last second that move was?
Very last second.
So if you look at my waivers, it was ridiculous, like how much I panicked before Sunday. And I had picked up Renfrow for Knox, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I like that. It's either Dalton Schultz, which I would have been fine with, and I probably should have done in retrospect, just played him. But every point counts, and I mean, you could have easily played a much closer fantasy game. And yeah, what I'm getting to is I picked up Dawson Knox, I think like a half hour before kickoff, and I'm like, I'm all in. That's what I literally said in the chat. I'm all in, baby. Like, I knew I was kind of like trying to like, you know, it was a big gamble. Did you
haircut? I also got a haircut.
Oh, did you?
He didn't notice. He didn't notice. It's good.
That's how you know you got a good one.
My lighting situation is a little bit worse. I mean, downtown guys got like a big old mountain range, and I just got like a blurry like wall behind me. So.
Well, yeah, you
you
also have to have lights.
You were just ahead of the curve with that new NFL camera where it blurs out the background,
right?
And it like makes the NFL player.
You can't really tell what's going on in the background.
You were literally the precursor.
Sometimes it's better that way.
So I've been doing a lot of I kind of like looked overall at the teams plus players, and like one of the things, and I know you've called this out. Was it Deontay Johnson, right? Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I called that out for sure,
dude. Yeah. That's all they've got going for them in Pittsburgh right now. Plus Najee. That's about it.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say. So you guys know I've been watching every game.
Yep.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's not. So, I mean, to be fair, it's not like Dan Arnold like really moving the needle for any team.
Okay, so like I get it from like the highest level of like expectations. Well, like what you're saying, yeah, he's not a Waller or like a Kittle, but these are already obvious things. Like obviously what you said is true, but it's obvious. So like what I'm saying is, don't those little things matter when you're trying to get yourself to the playoffs and win your first playoff game?
Yeah.
I think versus like, okay, maybe the Panthers don't win a Super Bowl this year, but if they get CMC back, they might make a run for it. I
mean, they played really well without CMC this week. Hubbard played pretty well. Darnold's playing like
DJ Moore's a stud.
Darnold, exactly how everybody thought he was supposed to play when he was drafted. It's just the Adam Gase curse, right?
And we talk about a lot of like sweet offensive coaches, but like Joe Brady gets left out a lot. He's sick. He's a great coach. Carolina's OC. He was LSU's offensive coordinator with Burrow.
That's where he went. That makes more sense.
Yeah,
Hubbard, makes way more sense.
Hubbard,
he's gonna be a head coach.
Well, yeah, of course he might take the USC job at this rate.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
By the way,
hot take. You've heard it here.
Chuba Hubbard, Chuba. 47% of snap share, 13 attempts, 57 yards on those attempts, 2 targets, 2 receptions, and no touchdowns.
They went down early. They probably weren't really running.
That is very
Cowboys,
true, by the way.
Cowboys were ahead most of that game, but also Darnold had two
rushing touchdowns himself. 2 rushing scores, and he keeps doing that.
He vultured him.
Yeah, are they designed, or is he just kind of?
No, he's just doing that. Like it's partially. I think it's like one of those things like where they have a Daniel Jones situation or a Lamar Jackson where they're totally okay if Darnold wants to run the ball in.
Yeah,
Darnold is not exactly a Daniel Jones type of.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying by that. Don't misconstrue that. I'm saying in a very specific stand.
I totally disagree.
Anything inside the 5-yard line, you mean?
commonly,
Yeah, it's a
commonly I
5
get.
yard. Yeah.
So okay, just to not misconstrue that, I mean, thank you.
Darnold,
I was just
Darnold
gonna
will
say
never
that.
get a 40-yard quarterback run in his whole
I think
career.
he has before.
Sean,
honestly,
Sean guy,
I remember him breaking one.
I meant inside the 5. Okay, and
Right, yeah.
you guys, I'm glad you chimed in and said that because yeah, Sean guy, I don't think I'm not aware. Like I've watched the footage of Carolina. It's always happens when Darnold's inside the 5. I'm not saying
Right.
these are designed run plays. Even I'm just saying that's something at the end
Right,
of the day
yeah. I mean,
where
they
kinda like-
were like quarterback option. I mean,
right,
both
exactly.
of,
Thank you.
both of his touchdowns
Yeah,
were
he's
from the
running-
shotgun, and it was an option play.
There's a little bit more of option play going on this year in general in the NFL, but yeah, I was just saying that the coaches aren't gonna discourage Darnold in the future from doing that. So if you're looking for it like a
Right.
streamer,
I mean,
I'm just saying
if
you might
they're gonna
look.
send three linebackers after the running back, I mean, the quarterback's gonna pull it most of the time.
Yeah, if you're looking for, I'm just saying, if you're looking for a streamer one week and you're like, well, Darnold is available for me. Hey, he might also run a touchdown in. It's possible
Right.
because it keeps happening,
Yeah.
and if he looks good doing it.
And
Yeah, like Johnny said, he doesn't have bad targets either. I mean, Moore and
Yeah.
Robinson. I mean, you could be doing a lot worse at wide receiver than those two guys.
I mean, you meant Anderson.
When
Robbie
we were
Anderson?
looking up the
Yeah. Anderson and Moore. Yes, correct.
when we were looking up the top quarterbacks, I was like, it makes sense, but it just like I didn't think about him at first. But yeah, Darnold's what, like number 8 or something right now?
No, I listed the top 10 up there. He's not.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he's in the
he-
top
he's
10.
They say he's
below
number
t-
5 right now.
He's below.
Five.
Number
Oh, he's-
5. Yeah.
Let me go back to the chat. here.
Also
No,
leading rushing
Those
touchdown
rushing touchdowns will help.
rushing touchdown leader. Just an FYI.
Yo,
What's he got?
So
Like
what-
4 or 3?
5. He's got 5.
Oh wow.
what have you guys covered
Uh,
so far? All the games. Cam Ace, congrats on the W.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
the W.
Darnold. My bad, y'all. Darnold is top 10. He's yeah, he is. My fault.
Louis, you won too, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, Louis did too.
So we're all winners except downtown right now.
That is correct.
He
That
needs
is
to-
true. Well, I mean, it was either me or him. So one of
Oh,
us.
that's right.
I
This is winners club only.
it's really
Louis, you did
weird.
reverse psychology again, dude. You got to stop doubting yourself all the time. It's crazy. Well, Pat and Mahomes went off, didn't he? He had like 40 points.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
Mahomes-
Chiefs
okay, so
exploded.
Mahomes in the first half.
Hill had 3 touchdowns.
I mean, he already had 3 touchdowns. Yeah, and like at the end of the quarter, it was
Going
just
off.
like, I mean, the thing is, I still thought downtown guy had a chance with Waller, Godwin,
Jones
and the kicker
Yeah,
because
yeah.
let me put it this
Is
way.
Godwin not really doing anything this year? I feel like
What's
I haven't
that?
heard Godwin. I feel like I haven't heard Godwin.
Godwin's been playing really well
Godwin's been
until
playing good
this
this
week.
year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, tough matchup against Patriots D.
so now
Well, it
that
was raining like crazy, so that was that.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
and the weather, and Tom Brady's like
Evans
40,
coming back to the
48 years
40.
old now.
okay, so I got a couple of more points, Johnny. We've been talking show structure tonight, because
I
now that we're
like the chaos, man. I like the chaos.
so now that we're over on iTunes with the official podcast, I want to talk structure with you guys and things that you guys want to listen to. But I have a couple ideas, Johnny, that you seem to bring up always, and that's coaching. So when Johnny comes on the show, it's always, this guy coached at LSU. I watched him talk to this coach one time, and they have good ideas. Not
Bro,
so, not in so many
you sound like
words,
I'm, like,
not in so
90
many
years old.
words, right? But I noticed that he always has his headset on during the fourth quarter.
You're making me sound like grandma.
Yeah, you're kind of like a grandma of football. Like you like the coaches. You don't really watch the like, oh dude, that catch was sick. No. Anyways,
I do that sometimes.
I'm gonna tone down the improv comedy and I would like to talk coaches and coaching in general.
You mean Bill Belichick's son?
Yeah.
Dude, was he like trying to be a meme? Like his face.
Therefore, we now shift our conversation to why we are here into our league's fantasy football breakdown for the week. So who would like to start?
Let's just go our game first, Lou.
Let's
just
do it, baby.
Let's do it. I'll take the big L again. I still stand by what I said earlier in that Tate had a fluke win last week. I should have won last week is what I'm saying.
Still salty about it.
I am. I will stay forever salty until I beat him. Overall, man, I just underperformed this week. With 108
Yeah,
points
this
and saying I underperformed is pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah, there's like almost no double digits in the skill positions except Boyd, which is almost the biggest surprise out of the whole group.
No, I wasn't a surprise. If I would have been more surprised if he had fewer yards.
I'm just saying, like compared to like Aaron Jones and some of those other guys.
Oh well, sure. In that situation, I mean, considering Higgins was like limited play, right, Louis? He didn't play very much, and he's got a
Higgins didn't play at all.
Yeah, Higgins was out. So Boyd becomes a number 2 target right off the bat. That's why I knew that the yards were going to be there, because we all know Jamar Chase is number 1 on that team. I honestly went really back and forth on the Smith OBJ until kickoff. I said, fuck it, let's try it. We'll see what happens. Put my eggs in the basket because I put him on the bench last week and said he's not, and they were both supposed to be good matchups when you look at just in general how the teams play against each other, right?
Was it more about Baker? Was it more about Baker? I heard he had a rough game, or was it OBJ? Just did he?
Baker did have a rough game.
Baker had a rough game, but it was supposed to be. I mean,
he overthrew Beckham in the end zone in the first half.
Oof.
Yeah.
So would you like where do you sit now with Beckham and Devontae Smith? Or obviously you're
good question.
Smith?
I mean, he's got the Chargers next week, and what we saw tonight is the Chargers defense doesn't do too hot against passing, at least not in the second half.
Yeah, and Eagles, man, garbage time again.
But I mean, he got a lot of his yards earlier though. That was the thing. And then the Eagles have Carolina, which Carolina D is pretty decent. So it's all about how I feel today, because they both have interesting matchups. However, I was saying earlier in the podcast that I was thinking I might start AJ Green for once because he's been a consistent 6 targets week in, week out, and has now produced 13 points a week for the past 3 weeks.
Can I just say, I feel like the Panthers D, like I know they got off to a good start and everything, but I feel like they've been overhyped. Like they're not that good. They don't have that many good players on their defense.
It's a team thing. That's a team.
Yeah,
defense.
exactly. Like they're doing well, but like when they play a good offense like Dallas, like they're not gonna like shut everyone down. And
I'm not sure that I think Philly is a better offense than the Cowboys are.
True. That's fair. Yeah.
So I personally just to weigh in on Carolina's defense. They lost J.C. Horn, which hurt them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He got hurt last week.
I just think with the loss of CMC, I kind of predicted this coming, that Dallas was going to give them a run for their money, and that by them not being able to keep the ball for as long, maybe because of that, like I said, the pressure was kind of on them this week, and I don't expect Carolina to play that bad on defense going forward. But yeah, I'm not, they had their hands full this week. Speaking back to our matchup, downtown guy, yeah, you kind of got a decision to make there with OBJ, but personally, it doesn't really look like OBJ is what is a traditional clear-cut number 1 wideout situation at all.
I think when Landry comes back, that'll be an interesting.
Yeah,
team.
I think if anything, Landry's more that guy. There's the rapport. Right. There's the rapport there, and from watching a lot of Browns before the season started, they're a talented squad, and I just think that the way that they work, it's really a logical. Everything comes from a logical standpoint, but it didn't help, like I said, that Baker missed some of those big throws this week. I even picked up Baker Mayfield off waivers, and I thought like he could really go this week, and didn't happen at all. And when things start, push comes to shove, it's going to matter what Baker does in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, but the running game's still really strong.
Hey,
they took the W.
quick 1 minute to AJ Green. How?
Yeah.
I mean,
What are you gonna do?
incredible. He's back, man. I'm just shocked. Like, it took me till this week to realize, like, okay, he's like officially back. It's like
Or-
2
or-
I wouldn't say he's officially back. I think he's
yeah, just like one touchdown. That was pretty much it.
no. He went 5 for 6, 67 and a touchdown. So like, and if you look at the week before, 5 for 6, 112, 3 for 6, 44 and a touchdown.
He's
So
not
kind of relying on touchdown.
He's not really like the Hansel though, so hot right now. He's more of like
Yeah.
the classic Zoolander. So you gotta like it's just like this is the comeback for like the old vet, like
Yeah.
in a way. Like so I don't know. There's a lot of people betting against AJ Green every week, probably as far as like their fantasy lineup goes, especially if you're a Luke the Beast and you have Debo Samuel, you got McLaurin, you got Tyreek Hill. You're not gonna play AJ Green. But in your scenario, wide receivers is definitely something that, no offense, by the way things went this week, that you kind of got to work on and maybe see what you're gonna do.
I think it could have been a whole different story if I played Smith over OBJ. I mean, because Godwin has been a solid player all his season. It's just this week.
Yeah,
The rain, whatever you want to call it. I mean, he got all of his yards on a 2-minute offense. Literally, that's what happened.
I think by playing, yeah, Aaron Jones came up short. I think he had a fumble,
He did.
lost. So I think going forward for you, if it's me, where I'm less worried and I lose less sleep, which seems to be the name of the game sometimes, is if you play Godwin and Smith, and then you figure out your flex spot going forward, and whether you want to stream a guy or whatnot. But I think somehow that 1-2 combo of Smith and Godwin on the record is going to be the best point total going forward. But it might not be enough if you're facing a squad like Luke or myself this week. I don't know how I'm going to do going forward, but I never know. And then speaking of that, if it's just anything I have to say is that football is completely unpredictable. I did get the win this week. I thought about playing Corey Davis. Kind of sucks you dropped him for you, because I don't think I'm going to let him go. I don't think I'm going to let him go.
I'm not actually very upset about it, to be honest, because I still think Jets have a lot of work to do, but I will even put it out there. If someone gets there before me, whatever, not a big deal. But I'm also already looking at Crowder as there's your first plug for me, giving you some insights in my thought process on the waiver wire.
Okay. Yeah. Like, what else you got on waivers this week?
That was one. I like that because I knew that he was going to be the number one target. I just didn't know what that was going to look like, because they were talking he was the number one target all preseason.
Is Elijah Moore not really getting going yet?
What's that?
Elijah Moore, is he not really getting going yet with the Jets?
He's still kind of injured.
Okay.
Oh, well, no, Elijah Moore. No, sorry. I was thinking of someone else. No, he's just not really getting any
Mitchell,
targets.
were you thinking of Elijah Mitchell?
I was, yeah. I went straight to that.
He didn't play. So yeah, I don't really know what's going to happen with the Jets going forward. A lot of that depends on Zach Wilson. I think he had probably the most favorable matchup he could have had this week against that Titans secondary at home, coming off a really bad performance.
He needed that one.
The floor, as they put it was much higher this week than it usually is for Zach Wilson, versus like if he goes against a tough defense on the road, it's not going to be looking good for the Jets.
Hey, Lou guy.
What's up?
Dawson Knox and Dalton Schultz, those are some big league pickups. Those are some good news this week, man.
Thank you. Yeah, Dalton Schultz was somebody. Going
forward,
Dalton Schultz was somebody that was on my radar after week 2. Watching the footage in Dallas, I like the way Dalton Schultz looked early on, and I was feeling kind of like that traditional Cowboys tight end vibe of like Jason Witten. And I kind of put some stake in Dalton Schultz, but I was wondering what Blake Jarwin was going to do. And I was trying to stay away from a 2 tight end set. I know some fantasy leagues are doing a team tight end thing now because of this, but I like this, you got to know what's going on thing more. And I made like a fake fantasy football analysis of Schultz and Jarwin got a touchdown. So I mean, Schultz was able to have a big game, but there's a big tight end
Colts got
play
a
in
touchdown
Dallas.
too.
Yeah, they both are
Yeah.
talented. Similar situation in New England, across the league. It's going on, but yeah, tight ends I'm looking for, like I had already discussed, but for all intensive purposes, Jared Cook, Tyler Conklin, both of those guys seem to be the clear cut man of their team. With
Dawson Knox too. Like he's their clear cut guy, right? In
yeah,
Buffalo.
Dawson Knox as well. The thing is, the reason why I'm hesitant to play Knox week in, week out, which I might do, but reasons why is because the ball gets spread out so much in Buffalo that it's a difficult fantasy scenario. So I kind of like Dalton Schultz going forward, and I might pick up Jared Cook for one of the tight ends I have. Just to give you my mind on what I'm doing on waivers, I'm still looking at Renfrow if I can get him. I might not get him. I'm dead last, I think, in waivers with the win this week, and then obviously I'm looking back towards Cephas, but Sean Guy said he's going to probably grab him.
That's right.
But probably not going to get Cephas.
I don't want him, but I could totally get him before him if I really wanted to.
Honestly, I'm gonna be real. I've been doing that all year as a strategy play. Pick up somebody before somebody else gets them, and drop him late in the week, and then you're screwed till the next week, and then your mind's all like discombobulated because you're looking at other guys and running backs and stuff like that. So definitely hit up waivers on strategy sometimes this year. I have, and then I like who else? Darnell Mooney, who I've also
I was
this
gonna
year.
mention Darnell Mooney is a good.
So
good choice
those are some
also.
good wideouts.
Wait. What about that Bears running back? What's his name? Damian Williams.
Damian Williams is. I mean,
he's trending. He's highest trending.
He's trending.
Right now.
Yeah, he's trending. I don't know how I feel about it because I still think.
I think he's injured though, right?
No, yeah, it says
is he?
it says in the event he misses a few weeks. So they don't know for sure if David Montgomery's out. They are.
Oh, okay.
And Tariq Cohen's still out.
Speaking of injured guys coming back, I don't think Jeff Wilson over in San Francisco, from what I know, is going to be as big as a factor as maybe Mike Guy thinks he's going to be when he comes back, because you have the Trey Sermon, Elijah Mitchell situation. I don't really know what he's holding on to him for, but I just wanted to touch on
a roster spot.
Yeah, I mean,
feel like the last 3 years, it's hard to play a Niners running back because the last 3 years, they always have so many guys and they give the ball to so many different guys. It's hard to know which guy to play.
A lot of injuries too.
Yeah.
Just to keep it in the subject matter, I really don't have much to touch on except for Tyler Lockett. Kind of a down week in the fantasy world, but realistically going forward, at my flex spot from a flex standpoint, I almost 9 times out of 10 say it's okay to get 5 points on my flex and then say I could have got 25-30, because if I get 25-30 in my flex, then I'm going to have an output like Luke this week where I'm going to have a really, really strong game. Might not quite hit that total, but yeah.
Well, and to your point, I put Beckham as my flex. 4 points isn't the end of the world on a flex position.
Yeah, I can't drop Knox. I can't drop Schultz. I'm probably gonna drop Tunyon, as much as I hate to do that, because if you look at his numbers last year, he can have a couple of games like this, maybe about 4 or 5 games under 10 points, and then Rodgers really likes to find him, and he's probably their clear cut tight end there in Green Bay.
I remember picking him up late last season. That's when he started playing really well.
It's hard for me to drop these tight ends, as weird as that sounds.
Louis, when you get a chance, I understand the Tyler. It's hard not to play Tyler Lockett. You probably should, but I'm just throwing it out there that look at his 2020 game log. He's the most boomer bust receiver sometimes. He'll put up 30 or 40 and then have 4 weeks in a row of scoring 4 or 5 points. It happens every year with Lockett. So, and I know he's had that. He started out the first 2 weeks really, really hot, but this is all normal for Lockett. And I know he got that little injury, but still.
Okay, so yeah, I going forward, like I said, I take the hit when I can versus the week where I come up big. If I can come up big half of the games in the year, whoever my opponent is, whether that be Mike Guy or Luke the Beast or Downtown Guy or you, I'm gonna roll with the punches, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you got it.
Because you're gonna be chilling, being like, oh yeah, this is a down week for Lockett, and then all of a sudden, I mean, when you watch Lockett play, when he has those big plays, he's so talented, and it's just fun for me to watch when it does go well. But yeah, I can't say that I'm never gonna bench him, and until injuries start taking over. I guess right now that's just kind of where I'm sitting as far as playing him.
Yeah, it's just funny. Metcalf is like the opposite. He's like 15 points a week, every single week,
I
15.
mean, even this year, like Metcalf week 1 was down, and then Lockett went off, and then I lost. The only game I lost this year is by making that decision, that mindset that you have. So it seems like there's two kind of fantasy owners: the guys that get nervous and try to make moves and end up losing the game, like I was week 1, and then the guys that just consistently just say, I'm playing my lineup. If I lose, I lose, and then they still win. So
yeah, and in your situation, you definitely should play him. Yeah.
Like I said, I've been both guys this year, and it was really affected me all of the next week. I was like kind of losing my shit all next week about how I made that wrong decision, and I still regret it 4 weeks later. I'm like, God, I should be undefeated right now. But yeah, like anyways, that's all I really have going on my team. A lot of these guys that I have are clear cut starts. I'm not going to drop Knox after that, and then I'm not going to drop Dalton Schultz. Believe it or not, Claypool might be somebody I'm just like, yeah, you can have him. But other than that, yeah, as crazy as that sounds and as talented as he is,
yeah. Why? What's your thinking behind that?
Just kind of playing with house money. I got a good record so far, and I was able to snag Corey Davis from Downtown Guys, so I might just pick up like a Hunter Renfrow, who a guy that I think is going to get 8 catches, which in our league's 4 points, and then maybe get a touchdown too, and just go with that.
You'd rather draft Claypool instead of Hines?
I'd rather draft Claypool instead of Hines.
Drop Claypool instead of Hines?
Yeah, I'm keeping Nyheim Hines. I don't care. I know he had a bad week, really bad week.
Yeah.
But Hines is the backup. So the thing is, it's a handcuff situation with Hines. I'm keeping Hines in case Jonathan Taylor goes down. I mean, I really like their O-line. Wentz continues to play like poo-poo from a mental standpoint. Was not impressed with Wentz again, even though they got the dub this week. I really think Wentz has a lot of work to do as far as like him being the best he can be. And it's kind of painful to watch Wentz sometimes.
Yeah,
and
man,
I like that for those reasons. I like the running game there because I think they'd really need to rely on that. And then Hines is if you watch
here's the coaching thing. Here's the coaching thing. Frank Reich does not really like running the ball. He's a pass happy guy, man. That's it's interesting too because they have that good offensive line and they have Jonathan Taylor, but he loves throwing the ball, and it's not really working out with Wentz.
Yes, and I'm keeping Hines for a handcuff situation.
In the receiving with Hines is nice.
Yeah, mainly handcuff though. I'm not even really looking to play him. That's really a plug and play down the road if Taylor goes down. Downtown Guy, you got any last thoughts on our matchup this week and your team?
I kind of hit all the points on my team. There's just a lot of underperformers. I need an RB2 spot really to figure that out. Got some wideouts that I got to work through. And if I could put a title to our game, it's a Hard Knocks life. I know I said it earlier, but it is a Hard Knocks life.
Cool. All right. Cammy, what do you got?
Well, I scraped by with the win. I was getting really nervous there. I don't feel like I deserve to win this game, but I'll take it. Brady was a disappointment. I mean, yeah, the weather and everything. I just thought he would go off being back in New England, but clearly didn't happen with 11 points. And then Cook getting injured, that hurt me. Sanders still not really like having a big game yet.
Wait, Cook got hurt again?
Yeah.
He kind of got
Yeah,
dinged up again.
Yeah,
like,
he re-aggravated it.
Oh
Yes.
my god.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how bad it is.
He came back in, I
Not a
guess
time.
Louis said.
Oh, okay.
So I don't
Yeah,
know.
he came back in, but yeah, like going forward, I don't know if he's playing next weekend, and I
Yeah.
don't know.
Both Cooks and Allen underperformed. Luckily, Noah Fart, he lived up to the hype. Johnson was a big factor for me. I probably would have lost if he didn't do as I would have lost if he didn't do as well as he did.
Man.
Tampa Bay kicker, 15 points. Bears D was a good pickup for me. So still kind of salty about the Allaire sit. Not that I'm blaming you, Louis. That was my decision, but I'm salty that I decided to bench him. Because I was even skeptical about playing Cook, honestly, but I know I probably should have played him because he's a start. But on the other side of the ball, Ben's team, I mean, Gaskin 0.3 points. I think that's kind of
Ben's team
what
had
got him.
a terrible week.
I was gonna
honestly.
say, what the hell happened to Miles Gaskin this week?
Yeah.
2 carries.
Yeah, like in reading the report, it's like, yeah, he's basically just disappeared, and
He wasn't even on the field, is what
Yeah.
it's saying.
Who
exactly.
do they have? Given the ball
20
to? Is it on that?
23% of the snaps. Oh my god, he never saw the field.
Yeah, they used the other guys, so it's kind of like
Ahmed?
another Tyson scenario where it's like, I guess maybe his stock just fell. Like I don't really know.
And that's why I feel like I don't deserve to win this game, because I feel like this was like such a fluke thing. And if Gaskin would have had his normal points, I would have lost for sure.
And then yeah,
If it makes you feel better, I would have made the same lineup decision as you, I think. Except Sanders, I don't know. Sanders or Hilaire might have been my decision, I think.
That's kind of what I was going back and forth to. I know we talked about that because I was like, Sanders against Texans, like I feel like that's a good matchup. But then Cooks, I liked him having the targets. So I mean, he got some towards the end, so I'm not too mad about Cooks. But yeah, it's just tough because I was going back and forth a lot for this week. So
that's the problem with having a good team is like you're like, what do I do?
Right.
The thing is, you really got to watch that Miles Sanders like attempts thing. 7 carries this week, and I think he's just so much better than that. And it really sucks, but I guess that's just the way it's gonna go. And then one thing I wanted to comment about your game is Ben Guy wins the game if he puts Cordell Patterson in there somewhere.
Oh yeah.
And I really last minute got over to him. Like I think it was like that podcast was posted way too late, but I did mention that he should it's probably after the fact I posted it, but I really did in the chat at least mention, hey, right before that Thursday night game, you might want to play Patterson
over Jones.
But I was neutral on that when I said it. I didn't really think absolutely you should do it, but
and Kelsey only having 4 points, I mean, I feel like that was a fluke as well. Like they put up 42 and he only had 4. So I feel like I just got really lucky, but I'll take it, I guess. So
like if Marvin Jones reaches his projection, Ben somehow like steals that game. But I mean, obviously your guys undershot their projections as well.
Right.
Dalvin Cook, big time. I did read an updated injury report on Dalvin Cook. There's no he didn't speak after the game, and as of now there's no absolute word, but he is going against the Lions next week, so it's something for you to pay attention to and stress out again. So
I mean, at least I'll be more confident if he does play against the freaking Lions over the Browns. So
big game for Montgomery.
It's gonna be funny next week when Ben plays Patterson, and that's the week they're like, don't go to him at all.
I would find that hard to believe that they're playing the Jets. I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I mean, he's a must start against the Jets.
It's just, and looking at his game, like he's been pretty consistent all year too, which is kind of crazy.
So he's
just trying to hope.
He's obviously playing running back mostly, and actually pretty much completely. But Sleeper still has him listed as wideout, and he's top 5. So I
They
mean,
have him as both. They list him as both a running back and a wideout.
oh, okay, so that's why he shows up at wideout. But yeah, it wideout compared to other wideouts he's showing, which is like a flex standpoint. He's
a good
like
flex.
top 5.
So Ben,
So-
you need to play him in your flex next week and do exactly what Ben or Louis said to do. Take the 4
No,
points
no,
if
no.
it happens. But if it's a boom, you got it good, bro. Are you playing him next week?
My mom really got to me, and now I'm like, you guys got to take me with a grain of salt, please, because I very easily could be wrong with the Edwards Hilaire
Oh.
thing, like. But I like I said, I did throw disclaimers out there for you because I'm not
You did, yeah.
not considering. I'm not just trying to consider one side of things. Like with Patterson, obviously Jones could play better, and then I did mention in the podcast this week that Chark going down with the season-ending injury that you want to hang on to Jones now. But yeah, that
speaking of, I'm actually playing Ben next week. So Ben, I just gave you advice
yeah.
to beat me. All good.
Johnny, what do you got to say about your game this week? Obviously, Saquon
Saquon showed
looking
up.
like himself.
back to his
looking
old
like
numbers,
himself.
and Daniel Jones.
finally.
The Giants pretty much just showed up in general, but
Louis, can you please say something nice about Dan Jones? Like he's pretty good.
no, I can't.
I can't either.
Why?
But you're gonna give me Burrow for week 12, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll make sure. Like,
It's
I'll
just my
do
bye
that.
week, and I'll give him right back for you. Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, who they like? It's kind of fun playing a different quarterback every week, so I might even just drop him right now. But we'll see.
Louis, please don't pick him up week 12.
one guy I can't. Excuse me. One nice thing I can say I lied about Daniel Jones is that in today's fantasy football world, it's you lose less sleep over starting a guy that's going to get you 60 rushing yards per game because it's 6 easy points. And if he doesn't turn the ball over and he plays well, then I mean those are easy rushing yard points. So yeah, I mean from that.
Yeah, man. I've been like, and I've never really been a Daniel Jones fan, but he's been really impressive to me this year. And I know the offensive numbers haven't been there in terms of production, but again, that's how much of that is going to Jason Garrett. It's I don't know if you watch the games. It's like it's not Daniel Jones' fault, which is weird because it's usually a quarterback's fault when production's not happening, but it really hasn't been. So he's been solid. And then Barkley showed up. Dude, Chris Carson is not doing it for me this year. Actually, he's.
What do you mean? Last week against me, he played really well.
Sorry. He just this week, so it's all right. Whatever.
This week down.
No. Yeah, I don't know why it felt like he hasn't done anything this whole year.
No, I mean,
he's been good.
This week against San Fran, 13 carries, 30 yards, and a reception. Not a very good fantasy game, but
yeah, I'm pretty happy with. I'm starting to be a little bit more optimistic about my team after this week.
Yeah,
with
you got a strong squad going forward.
I'm gonna say once there's gonna be weeks where Hopkins and Thielen and Kittle are all going off. I'm gonna put up some serious
for
points.
sure. Big down week for your receivers and Kittle.
Yeah, and Kittle hasn't really gotten going at all this year.
Galladay's stock's still high with the injured Giants receivers.
I like your Shenault's pickup.
Yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be tough to know when to play him though.
Well, now that Chark's gone, once again, that's another Jacksonville receiver that is all of a sudden the stock is going upward.
Yeah, I want them to do what we kind of all expect them to do, which is kind of use him as a running back and he should be used the way Daryl Patterson is used. Honestly, they're kind of the same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, but I think Patterson's a little bit quicker, and I think that
Shenault was
Shenault, yeah, he kind of wants to take a hit, when he's out there, but I still think, like I said, that Shenault, is now increasing in value for sure.
And last thing on my team, I've kind of just had Pollard and Michael Carter chilling on the bench all year, and I'm kind of liking their progression. Like I'm hoping towards like the end of the year they're gonna like. I mean, Zeke's obviously there, but Michael Carter is showing like it seems like the Jets are trying to figure out who's going to be their lead back, and I think Carter is going to be taking that over pretty soon.
I would have, if you just look at his snap percentage, he's been on a steady increase.
Good.
So,
Okay, good.
So just a FYI there. He's at 51% of snaps this week.
51. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And your mom,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
she's got work to do at RB2, for sure. I don't know if she's gonna find that guy on waivers or if Trey Sermon finally kind of jumps ahead a little bit in that San Fran scenario. And obviously the Lions. I was able to watch the Lions game before this. It's not like Williams couldn't have scored on a couple of plays he had in the red zone. Williams still looks good when he has the ball. It's Goff. Jared Joff. Yeah, he really kind of blew it all game long. Like as far as like it didn't really look like a lot of times there was even that much pressure on him or he didn't take a hit, but he would overthrow somebody. Whether it's the offensive scheme, which it very well might be. I don't know what was going on with the Lions in the red zone, and then there were really bad turnovers as well. So he did take a hit on one of them. His arm was kind of coming forward, fumbled the ball. They're not dealing. The Lions aren't dealing with pressure scenarios very well, and that's something you really hate to see from a fantasy owner standpoint. If your guys are shaking in their boots out there, I don't like it going forward as far as Detroit, and we'll see what happens with Williams.
Yeah,
he's a great handcuff running back to own, and
he's to own. I just would never like. I feel like if I ever put him in my starting lineup, I'd just be like, ugh.
She just doesn't have very many options, and it's funny how like my mom from week 1 and 2 looked like the best team is now kind of looking like a very average team. But things change. We'll see what happens over there in the world of the lonely kickers. She needs a tight end if Gronk's not going to be playing, and
he'll be out for another couple weeks.
Calvin Ridley's ceiling's still pretty high, even though Atlanta sucks.
Gronk has the Drew Brees effect this year with the
punctured lung
and 4 cracked ribs and 1 broken.
Yeah, it sounds
so he's out for a few weeks.
So she can slide him. She can slide him over to IR. I'll probably drop Tunyon.
It seems like Ridley is struggling a little bit without his old buddy Julio Jones next to him.
Yeah,
a little bit,
yeah. I mean, they're just struggling in Atlanta in general. I think Kyle Pitts is really,
Actually, look at his targets, dude. He is the wideout one over there. Week 1, 8, week 2, 10, week 3, 11, week 4, 13 targets.
But there's some situations where like it's kind of like Godwin when you're wide receiver 2, but your efficiency is just like through the roof. That was kind of Ridley last year.
I mean, his efficiency is still good. He's just not getting in the end zone. That's his problem. He's consistently getting targets, getting catches, and getting yards. He needs to get in the end zone. So it's actually not a bad play that she's playing him. If you look at his overall statistics, it's just he needs to get in the end zone. But that's all going to Cordell Patterson. So what are you gonna do? I mean, also
the thing.
Not wrong.
A hot take for you guys. So Teddy Bridgewater is concussed and probably will not play next week. Keep an eye on that.
Oh, thank you for that. That's good stuff.
So keep an eye on that because you might not want to play your wide receivers.
I was high on Patrick this week over in Mike guy's world, but that's good stuff because obviously Denver's not going to be shit without Bridgewater.
Yeah. So Noah Fart might not have a touchdown next week.
He'll be the Noah Fart of the past.
Yes, it's very possible.
Maybe scoop a tight end then.
He'll be the Rudy Giuliani farting in the courtroom.
What I'm hoping for is a strong running back performance.
So yeah.
Real quick, since we talked about your game, Matt, and so you have Javonte and I have Melvin Gordon. I just want to know, like, what are your thoughts between those two guys?
Between those two, So I saw some of the Denver game. I wasn't paying too close attention because it was on the small TV where I was at. But I saw a really incredible run by Jelante, and was really impressed with that. But both, and I know it's
Wow.
Javante. I know it's Javante, but I
They're
like saying
50-50,
Jelante.
right?
They're
This past-
50-50 split.
Wow.
They're both really good downhill running backs. I mean, it's really hard to say who's going to be the number one. I think we're stuck in a running back committee with those two. And it's really just going to be who's got the hot hand that week that they ride with, because he had 7 carries for 48 yards with 3 for 3 receptions, which didn't go very far. And if we look at with Melvin, who you didn't play this week, 9 carries, 56 yards, 2 for 4, 11 yards. It was carbon copy. Exact same.
I don't feel good about playing Melvin. Do you feel good about like having Javante in your lineup?
I felt good because he was the only option really I had for RB2 this week.
Okay.
Because I last second swapped before I found out that Ty was not going to be playing. And I just did that on you know what, Louis, I liked your advice. I'm going for it. We're going to do it.
I mean, can't believe Tyson was just completely excluded like that after that advice.
Yeah.
I was like, well, didn't expect to be like that, but okay.
Yeah, I didn't expect that either. And then Peyton Barber, obviously, I'm not gonna go play the guy if Josh Jacobs is literally gonna be a questionable start on Monday night.
Might be if Josh Jacobs goes again next week, you might be looking to swap out. For example, I like J.D. McKissick almost as a better handcuff scenario, because J.D. McKissick is gonna get touches probably no matter what, and then not only that, he's got like this decent receiving game going for him. And Gibson, looks like a guy that they're leaning on, and I don't wish this on him. I'm just saying they're leaning on him so much that he could easily go down. And
he's a lot like CMC. He's just not to that same caliber yet.
He's pretty he's pretty intelligent, so I don't think like he's just gonna go out there and just get like, and I know that's kind of crazy to be looking at it from that kind of point of view, like once again a Squid Game kind of thing. Like, I'm not like betting on this guy or anything. I'm just saying like he could get hurt, and if Gibson if he goes down, McKissick's a nice guy to have right now, and he's a nice guy to at least gonna give you 7 points if you got nothing on a bye week, or maybe more. Anyway,
it just feels like a coin flip between those Denver guys. I just wish it could be like Cleveland, where like you're playing Chubb and Hunt like automatically.
Yeah, you never know like when Melvin's gonna go for 20 or when he's gonna go for like 6 or 7.
So, but here's what I think is gonna happen next week is they're gonna, because locks in most likely. We don't know how long Teddy's gonna be out, if he's gonna not play next week. If he's not, see them relying heavier on the run, or at least the running backs. So it might be a solid look for us in that regard.
So we forgot to like mention this, but I think, Ben, you're gonna really have to pick somebody up for Gaskin at this point, or throw Patterson in there and just figure out what you're gonna do with your flex and to continue playing Evans. I don't know if you're gonna be listening to this very little quick segment on that, but I just want to stick us to a more organized standpoint and go over to another game here and talk about Luke the Beast and Slick is still a fraud. But let's talk about this insane 208 point performance.
Yeah, what the hell, man. Tyreek Hill is insane as usual.
Scores like a quarterback would on his best game. So
everybody but Higbee pretty much went off.
Yeah, everybody outperformed their play on his team.
So he's in my division. I'm gonna have to play him again. And if there was one guy I really hated playing, which I kind of hated playing everybody this year, which is really weird, including you, downtown guy, there was a lot more stress than you think on my plate as far as like thinking if I was going to get the dub this week. But
well, I only had like 2 people playing, and we were tied for a hot minute.
Luke guy's team sucks to play because 12 targets for Hill, which is to be expected. 13 targets for McLaurin, and then 12 targets for Samuel. So like when
And-
you're watching his receivers play, or like if you're just watching your screen or whatever you're doing, you're like, oh my God, like stop throwing this guy the ball, and they just won't.
McLaurin is definitely going to get 13 targets moving forward because that is Heineke's like favorite person right now.
And Debo is just literally a draft steal at this point.
Yeah.
Like if I was looking back, would have known. Nobody really, I think, knew Debo was going to be like what he is.
I think there was a few of us that were looking at him and it just hit at a weird time where we were like, well, we filled these position spots already.
Yeah, he was kind of drafted in a weird spot where it's like, why is he ranked so low? Like something must be wrong with him or something. Because we all knew he was good. We just
didn't know.
Like almost weird.
Yeah,
it was
I think
weird. Yeah.
Sean was betting heavy on Ayuk, and a lot of people were, and like the fact that he came down with a 27-point game week 1, and then now the 30-point game, I just think people are looking at Debo in a new light. I mean, he's got clear 3 number 1 wideouts now.
Yeah.
So
I want to shout out my guy for being such a good sport about it. He was just like, I want to see the 200. I don't care. Let's go. Get 200 Eckler.
And he did just to read what Mike guy just chatted us at the very end here, you know, like starting with the unfortunately for me.
Yeah.
You know, like he would have beat 9 out of 11 opponents, and he drew the short straw this week. I think that's really true. The Logan Thomas going down things sucked really bad, and that
was hammy literally right at the beginning of the game.
But he keeps winning like manager of the week because my guy, like even with the draft, like is really looking like the 2-time champ that he is. It's like Jalen Hurts is in like that top 5 of quarterbacks. You got Robinson finally coming to life. Harris is going to be the number 1 guy. Devontae Adams could always have like a Debo Samuel type game there. CeeDee Lamb, same thing. Hang on, Johnny. And then Jacoby Myers is the clear number 1 in New England. And Mac Jones is playing, like, speaking of rookie quarterbacks, playing really well. At least he did this week. And Prater, a great kicker to have. Even the defensive scenario with the Rams and then swapping them out was a great call. So it's like, I don't know, Mike guy just seems to always fire on all cylinders, and he just kind of makes it look easy. So I don't really understand how he does that.
Yeah. Shout out Mike guy.
Shout out Mike guy. Then, back out over to Luke. Luke has pretty much the most dangerous team in the league right now, which is, I think, really
the only thing he has to work on is when the bye weeks come for him. He's got some depth issues on the bench, from what I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, like, Coleman is still like getting some action out there, and P. Lindsay could have gone a totally different way from week 1 to how it's gone so far.
Yeah.
So Callaway is kind of coming to life. Obviously, Chark's done for the year, so he's gonna, ideally drop him.
Yeah.
And then Rondell Moore is probably someone you want to keep around. But yeah, dude, you're totally right. Like, time probably very much the time is now to utilize those bench spots with Chark gone.
Yeah.
And then, you might be able to say, see you later to the Giants D. And, those are 2 spots right there. You could just fill up with running back or whatever.
Yeah, I'll just say on Luke's team, I'm just glad he got a little unlucky first 2 weeks for all of everyone else in the league that he's 2-2 instead of 4-0 right now.
Yeah, I had a very close game with Luke. But I will say pre-week analyst, I didn't get my pre-week predictions out this week, which I'm trying to pin to the chat. Next week I'll get them in. I've done them all 3 weeks, but I think the only one I pinned to the chat is going to count in the end. But I try to do predictions before the games go down. I did think downtown was going to take the dub, but let's switch it over to Space Force General Sean Guy, who is no longer with us and I cannot get a hold of in the world of Auburn Hills. So Space Force Generals versus Doesn't Kneel. Doesn't Kneel actually had a pretty decent game, except for his plug-in play. Cole Beasley came up flat big time. And
Cup
then
came out flat. I mean,
Cup,
his
Cup
his
didn't do what.
normal-
Yeah.
he had a unlucky
Hawkinson,
game.
too. And
Wait,
Williams.
Yeah.
what's Dustin
Mike Williams
Neal's
had a
record?
really, really bad week as far
Yeah.
as what he
I
does
feel like we
usually.
haven't talked about him at all. What's his record so far this year?
Doesn't
Neal.
Neal's record's at 2-2. I mean, we cover him on every show, but the thing is, like, he's the guy who lost CMC. So by losing CMC, it's usually CMC, Gibson, and then he might play Edmonds at flex. But realistically, what killed him was the fact that Julio Jones was out too. So he's probably like one of, I hate saying this because it's like everybody's pretty good this year, but he's kind of one of the weaker squads, especially without CMC. So
Yeah, wait, has there been a year where we've all been like this close? I feel like
I don't
all
think
are,
so.
like,
That's what
pretty
makes this
damn
show
good.
difficult and kind of exhausting is you want to like kind of touch on every team and talk about all these guys. So I did recommend him maybe putting Mike Williams over Cole Beasley, which wouldn't have panned out this week. But if you put Mike Williams there, then you got Mike Will, Cooper Kupp, and then Leonard Fournette finally kind of I think is stealing the show in Tampa Bay as far as that running back scenario goes. And you can expect maybe some more running back scores going forward since they've been so pass heavy. So something to look at there if he uses Fournette in the flex. And then swing it over. Let's swing it over to what else you guys got to say, I guess, about Spartans don't kneel. Swing trooper.
Cooper Cup finally back to earth a little bit.
Kind of some work to
Yeah.
do, you know.
Yeah, Hawkinson had another quiet week, and yeah, Williams went off last week, and then he puts him in, he gets 1 point. So
I mean,
that's-
Hawkinson, yeah, at 6 points at a tight end. I mean, it's as far as him not being that Waller, Kittle, Kelsey guy,
right.
it's not
Yeah,
so
that's
bad
true.
in an average tight end performance, which we're kind of not used to seeing after those three.
Right.
I think you keep rolling with him, but yeah, you know, Mike Williams and Cooper Kupp are like top 10 receivers right now. I mean, aside from this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
It does feel like just looking around the league and the scores of all the games in here, a lot of the receivers that have been going off, it seems like there's finally some regression kind of coming back to earth for some of these guys. And some of the guys that have been quiet have like went off this week.
Yeah, and then over to Sean Guy. Looking at his bench, he's got some firepower. Mitchell might be coming back and taking a good portion of that San Fran run game. Josh Jacobs now healthy, so he could easily plug them at the flex and run with Hubbard as long as he can. And his receivers are kind of finally coming to life a little bit with Robinson. You know, I don't know how Fields is going to look going forward. He did look a lot better this week.
Yeah, Robinson's game log doesn't look great.
I think Mooney stole the show.
Yeah, Mooney stole the show. What I liked about Fields, and it has nothing to actually do with the fact that he played the Lions, is he made some of those throws that everyone said that he was capable of throwing. All those back shoulder catches, all those tough ones that are like perfect passes.
Yeah.
He did a lot of that this week. So like even though he didn't get a touchdown, Fields, he's got the potential to really turn that around. I think he's definitely stole the starting job from Andy Dalton with that performance.
Yeah, good stuff from Fields, regardless of the opponent this week. Yeah, Sean Guy, I like the team going forward. Crucial win as well since we have 6 playoff teams this year.
So is CMC going to be out for a while?
It originally started as
It
started as like a 2-3 week thing, and they're not putting him on IR. Putting him on IR, and then you just got to monitor that though. Hamstring injury, the guy continues to get injured, so I think like even if he does come back, there's still some kind of like, you know, it might not just be like, all right, let's just hand him the ball every freaking play because you know they're gonna be worried about that. If they want to compete and make a playoff run, they might use him a little bit more sparse. It might be a little more sparse.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I almost think I would rather play Hubbard than Jacobs at this point.
Oh yeah. Well,
Out.
Jacobs
yeah.
Jacob's a nice flex option, and it really I don't know if you listen to like Levy and Lewis and Greasy, but they did mention how the Chargers D struggled against the run this year, and they've kind of finally showed up tonight. So kind of underperformed, even though Jacobs was questionable. So tough questionable there for Sean Guy. Nice win.
Talking offensive line, the Raiders have just not been able to run the ball at all this year.
Yeah, I mean Peyton Barber had a pretty decent week last week, though.
He had a really good week last week. He had 111 yards last week.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
that's
and I missed the boat because even the fantasy experts at Fantasy Pros were like, "Don't play Barber's a sit," and maybe Drake, but I don't really know. And
that wasn't the Steelers game, was it? Raiders. Was that 2 weeks ago?
Who did the Raiders play last week?
Wow.
Miami. They played.
Yeah, they played Miami. Yeah. It was Drake's former team, so like you remember I was like debating and playing Drake against you, and I decided against it. So.
Dang. Okay.
But yeah, let's move to another game. Let's go over to.
I think we're down to Team IPAs.
Yeah, IPAs with my boys versus Team Steak. So
I stand by my earlier comments that his win last week was a fluke.
Hey, shout out to the auto draft.
Shout out to Otto Steak.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, just like I said this week, the firepower at running back is a bit ridiculous. If there's a clear guy to play a running back at a flex, it's Steak. With Mixon, Montgomery, Ezekiel Elliott, and Zach Moss now kind of really getting a lot more action, even in the passing game, and a lot more carries. What's that?
Is he the only team in our league that's playing 3 running backs right now? I think he might be.
He's got really good running backs. I would do it too.
Yeah. It's crazy. I feel like that used to be like the go-to, and I know it's different with PPR, but there's just not that many good running backs these days.
Johnny, I'm gonna give you a call this week. Make sure you pick up.
Okay.
I think Tate this week's kind of got bad luck because Josh Allen, yeah, he had a really decent game, but like with that rain, it kind of really worked against Tate. And then Prescott kind of like seemed to like he's just really on a roll. And Zeke had a really good game against Carolina. And really it wasn't like Tate didn't cover his ass because like his receivers did fine and Mark Andrews did good. Waddle even had some good moments there, even with that 4.8 game. Bengals seemed like a better play going forward. It's just like in our half PPR league, it's like it's looking like you're gonna really have to go over 100 if you're gonna do it. And I don't know. I'm trying to like break it down, but there's really nothing I can say except that Kamara underperformed and that Swift way underperformed. And I think that's what got him in the end.
Yeah.
I think Kamara's magic.
Yeah, ever since week 1, Kamara really hasn't done as much as people think he should.
Yeah,
I mean, the magic's gone without Breeze a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, his talent level is extremely high though, so I don't expect Kamara to be like a bust or anything like that.
Oh no, yeah.
So Jamar Chase did not score a touchdown this week, which is the first week he hasn't scored.
But some big catches from Jamar though. Once again,
yeah.
I just think he looks so good. But you're right. Yeah, I didn't find the end zone.
I love Jamar Chase, but if that were my team, I would feel really like I wouldn't feel good about starting Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle, 2 rookies, in my starting. It's just I don't know.
He went pretty high to take Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I didn't even like when they drafted Waddle that early in the draft. I thought that was a weird spot because they could have gotten Devonta Smith. Is kind of where I was going with that. This is back in the NFL draft.
I was a Waddle guy. But
another good point, by the way, on Waddle. But another contender for bench of the week would probably be Harris, the running back for New England, Damian Harris. I think he really kind of cruded up all game long. I don't know. He got 4 carries for -4 yards. So that was definitely a really big down game for him, especially with what's his face being injured in New England.
James White.
James White, thank you.
Yeah.
James White. I was
Is that what
trying to
bench of the
blank.
week means?
Um,
Like crowd of the week.
Yeah. Wait, what? Crowd of the week?
Crowd of the
Yeah,
week.
like crowd of the week. Yeah,
that-
okay.
Is that what the
But-
bench of the week means? Okay.
No,
That's
bench
not
of the
what it
week. Bench of
means.
the week is like golf. It's like the lower score on your bench, the better. So it's like you saying,
Oh,
like,
okay.
okay, this guy's got
That makes
good
sense.
potential, but I feel it in my bones, and I'm gonna bench him, and then he does crappy and ends up really working in your favor. Two other
makes
guys I want to mention on Tate's bench, and I really want to say you still should probably drop Watson and make some moves, or just now that we have the IR spot, that's a perfect time to throw him to the IR and nab somebody else. So Tate, I'll throw you a text to put him on IR. And then I like Kenneth Gainwell a lot. That was somebody who's not been
Wow.
scoring a lot of points, but I really had my eye on him. In case Tate dropped him, I was gonna nab him right away because I like what I like what I see from Gainwell, and might not always go that way, but go ahead.
Was that kind of game flow? Like, why did he get those targets instead of Sanders? Was it kind of just garbage time related?
I just think it was like a game script kind of thing. It was just like we were telling Cammy is like, Miles Sanders is really talented, but for whatever reason, it's like Jalen Hurts is running the ball a lot, and then they seem to be pass heavy. So therein lies the 6 out of 8 receptions and
Right.
the 58 receiving yards.
He's
It's weird
taking
because
over.
I feel like Antonio Gibson and McKissick are a similar situation. It's like Gibson and Sanders are both really good pass catchers, but for some reason they're using other guys to do that.
Right.
So, but this week, Gainwell finally gets 58 receiving yards on 8 targets. The weeks before it was 3 targets, and 4 targets, 1, 2, and 3 in that order. And he's not able to get nearly those yards. So Gainwell just with a big game. You know what I mean? So I just think going forward, he's a decent guy to keep around on your squad.
Yeah.
Ruggs is also a nice play. How you were talking about maybe not liking Waddle. Maybe eventually you just switch it up and go with a Ruggs over Waddle in that flex. I will say though, if I have Jamar Chase, Johnny, and I have Tyler Lockett, that call is a lot more difficult at that point. I might go with Jamar Chase some of the time.
Good point.
Because I think
That's what I'm saying in your situation.
yeah, out of the rookies, I think Chase is like such a clear cut number 1 guy that we can get used to enjoying throughout his career.
Waddle's not there yet. Yeah.
Waddle's he's more of a different player. He's not going to be a Jamar Chase type guy. He's more like a slot receiver and a speedster. So,
Yeah, you're hoping he breaks the slant for like 70 yards.
yeah, like if you put Waddle like on the Rams, for example, or like the Buccaneers, I think it's a totally different scenario. You got a really big play threat there. But
hey, how about that Van Jefferson call? I think he went off this week. I
yeah,
was talking about him last
I
week.
remember, Sean guy's like, he's their clear number 5 option. I'm like, I don't know, man. Seen a
Yeah.
lot of good things from Van Jeff.
They're
So,
gonna switch up him and Deshaun like weekly. I feel like that, like one big play a game or something.
yeah, I like it. I like Van Jeff, but it's a tough call whether you play him or not.
Oh yeah, I could never play him, but yeah.
He sat on my bench in the other league, so
Oh yeah.
Isn't week 5 the first week of the bye weeks?
I
No,
think
that
so.
was the extra game this year. I think it's a week later.
Oh,
Right.
I think it's still week 5 because I think it used to be week 4.
Yeah, starts week 6.
Week 6.
Week 6.
I think downtown guy should take over the show and be the Joe Rogan, and I'll just be that little guy off screen, constantly googling things and be like,
Oh yeah, dude. Look that up.
we got an image
Pull
for
it
that.
up.
Yeah. Look at this, man.
Look at this right here.
Hits joint, takes
Oh,
shot
we
of
can't play the
takes shot of
YouTube
whiskey,
video, copyright.
takes shot of whiskey. No, and that's the thing. They always get away with it. They got the
Yeah.
lawyers in place to be like, yeah, we can play whatever we want. We can say whatever we want. I'm Joe Rogan.
I went through a phase like
Yeah, I just went to
maybe
the local high
years
school
ago.
and I started doing DMT with all the kids, and it was awesome, dude. We all
Disclaimer: you did not do that.
they all graduated. They all graduated best in class. It was really crazy ever since they did DMT. But yeah,
I
so
went through the Rogan phase like 2 years ago, I think. Maybe like 2
I
years
had
ago.
a huge Rogan phase in 2013 2014, huge Rogan phase for sure. 2015 even.
Yeah.
But I'm out. I got out. Anyways, that covers our league for the most part. We got a lot of show structure ideas going forward. That I promise I will like get organized before the show, and that way we can kind of just run that.
Come with notes. Come prepped.
Yeah, and I'm trying to keep we're like trying to keep it like an hour to an hour half cap.
That's
on
what
the
I'm saying.
show.
Like I feel like we go pretty long. Like, do we really need to like add more stuff?
It's just a lot of side conversation.
So like a lot of that gets edited
Yeah.
out anyways, but like, or it can. And the thing is, I want to kind of keep it like to a point where my chapters are real easy for me to do. So like what we'll do is we'll go through the league and analyze each game. We'll try to spend less time there, and then we're gonna start getting more into this. I have over here rookie QB conversation, strange commentary, Sean Guy's bench of the week, worst best managers, stardom situms, matchups, gut feelings, post week performances, target share, top waiver ads,
Dude, that's a lot.
streamers, underperform, overperform,
So we
coaches,
don't have to hit. We don't
college
have to hit
football,
all of them.
O line and defense.
We're gonna have to do.
I'm gonna hit all of them, baby. all it takes is a paragraph under each one of those. So I got something. If you got something to say on O line, defense, and weather might be one where like, hey, well, okay, I'll hit that on the pre-week. But yeah, top waiver ads. I think that was really valid. Streamers, stardom, situms, stuff like that. We'll see how it goes.
Louis, I think you're a good host. I really do. I think like you're like a natural at it.
For sure.
Thanks, man. I told my mom. She's like, hey, Louis needs a pulled a Karen on me like she tends to do. I love my mom, but like you got to realize, guys, like in a different world, like where I don't have a neurological disorder. I hate to I'm trying to budget my time from even talking about it, but I have to be sitting down a lot of the time because I'm in pain when I sit up. So I appreciate you guys. Like being here is so much fun for me to be with people that love watching football and love talking football, because it's something I can do and it's something that's mentally healthy for me to do. So I appreciate it. And I'm sad we lost Sean Guy. I don't know what happened. I texted him, we lost you, and he never got back to me, but
He said, I'm going to sleep. That's what
He's
happened.
just done.
yeah, he probably is. Honestly, we had a late night.
He was creating his Instagram account.
Deleting
That's
it.
when we lost him. That's when we lost him on that. Anything that's borderline not straight up like football and
Football. He's
Uh,
a football guy, man. He's a
but you
football
know
guy.
what? Like honestly, that's why I took these notes down, because I would love to talk football coaching. I would love to talk offensive line, defensive players and stuff like that. So I just write a couple of sentences and paragraphs. The more structured we get going forward, the easier it is for everybody to chime in and know what we're going to talk about. And as soon as we get like an organization thing going, we can keep it short and to the point.
You should create a website.
Well, I wouldn't put it past us at this point. So right now we got a podcast. We're on iTunes. God damn it.
We'll get some articles in there.
We made it.
I've used Ben's reggae song. That intro and outro sound pretty fire.
I love it.
Couldn't
That's
help
my
but get
favorite part.
giddy.
Fire.
So this added some reggae samples in there, and I think we're good on that. I was having Ben Guy drop a new one, but until then, we're sticking with that. And then, yeah, man, I don't know. Like I said, I appreciate you guys tonight, and on every night that you come on, and I don't know. We'll see how it goes for you next week. Who's everybody playing next week?
Hey,
Downtown. I remember that now.
I'm
Downtown's
scared.
got Triple C.
No,
So we always
I got Ben.
I thought
Ben
you
Guy.
had. I thought you said you had
You
Triple
just
C.
played Triple C.
I played him last week.
Oh,
I
that's
just
Tate.
I keep
Or
saying
C-
Triple C.
Or
Yeah.
that's Sean Guy, right? Who's got Triple C? Sean Guy. He kept saying. Somebody said they were playing Tate.
I don't know. I just kept saying that he had a fluke win. That's all.
Don't worry, Joe Rogan. I'm your fact checker. Give me a second. Week 5.
How do you find that again? Did you
It's
play?
it is Space Force Generals versus Team IPAs with my boys. Yeah. So by the way, I put up a vote for strongest division, and we clearly took the cake in the double C this week.
It's ours, right?
Yeah, I mean this week we were looking like the studs. And even
For Luke, too?
Ben Guy steals that W if he plays Cordell Patterson, but
Yeah, I
And
know.
there was a week where if he played Evans, he would. I mean, he could
yeah,
easily be
yeah,
3-1 then.
he's given himself the loss again. He's mismanaged his way into a loss.
So,
We need to like really hammer down that joke. Get him to play the right lineup.
he deserves it at this point.
Yeah. He just keeps crudding up. But yeah, anyways, Sean Guy playing Tate, Meme Lords playing Downtown Guy. So yeah, maybe he'll mismanage his way into another loss for you, Downtown.
That would be very nice, but I feel like I'm stuck with just the. So here's the thing: I'm looking at points.
The two guys with bad luck going against head to head.
Right.
Whose luck is worse?
So I have the most points against, but I also have the most points for in my division, and I can beat out almost everybody else except for Slick is still fraud, and then the top three in your league, in your division. So like points for wise.
Louis, how do the playoffs work? Is it
so it's 6 teams, and the top 2 are going to take a bye week like the NFL does. So
that's not a thing anymore.
Like,
wait, is that true this year?
They have 7. They have 7 playoff teams, and only the top 1 gets the bye week.
Really?
Yes. They did that last year.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, Louis, I didn't know. Captain Oblivious over here.
Is there a possibility like if me, you, and say whoever gets third place out of me, you, and Luke?
Okay,
like,
so
is that out?
Okay, so I posted it to the chat before, but I don't think our chat is full of like us watching the game. So you have to go through a sea of messages to find it. And there's no way to search the chat. So I should have pinned it, but I did not. It's division winners first. And then I think it's record in point four. So it's that simple. So there's going to be top 3. And then the next 3 are going to be whether you're all in the same division or not. Yeah, exactly. Yep. It's record and points.
Okay, so we could have 3 in our division make playoffs.
You could, yeah.
Yeah, we could.
Okay.
We could have 4. I mean, but it's probably not gonna be 4. But
so, and I remember this conversation.
Or no, we can't have 4.
Yeah.
Math.
I remember this conversation because I remember I said, hey, why can't we do a head to head?
Yeah,
before we do
that's when I posted it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I head to head would be cool, and I would be more than welcome to voting on it. But I did differentiate. I just feel like if you put the points up,
we're doing points 4, right? Yeah.
Matt, for example,
better than points 4.
For example, like Luke the Beast, it's a kind of a mind fuck, because you're right about head to head. Like each week you got to make the right decisions to get the win. So you got to respect that. But then every week you also got to make the decisions to get the points for. So
yeah,
it's kind of like that's why I was gonna
points for, yeah, because
I mean
it's like that's about luck.
At the end of the day, we don't have the option, but it would have been very well up for a vote, and I would have been willing to do whatever the democracy decides. So
not a dictatorship, it's a democracy.
Yeah, now that Triple C has co-commissioners Lou Guy and Sean Guy, we have and we always have the voting system, and this is the most involvement we've had by far all year. So we're getting closer and closer to in-person crazy IPAs for all draft.
Also, going back to the corrupt commish, him trying to be sneaky right before the season started with changing the fucking rules. Come on,
he did nail it on one. I keep seeing fumbles go out of bounds, and I'm like, oh, that's -1 point if Triple C didn't change it. Like, I don't know. It makes you think, because like fumbling the ball is never a good thing. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, you should be rewarded for fumbling out of bounds. You know what I mean? But at the same time, your team gets it back, and it's like, it's like
a fumble's still a fumble, even if you get it back. So
yeah, it's like, I don't know what else to say. It's kind of like missing a dunk in the the NBA. It's like it's not a good play by any means if you fumble the ball out of bounds. Like, but should you be penalized in this fake football world? I guess not. So he did find that, but then there was something else we disagreed on, but I changed it back or something.
Here's what I say. When you decide to come to the draft and not be in a cabin drinking IPAs,
I don't know,
or on a date, you can start having all of the say in this thing again.
Like, I mean, no disrespect by this, but there is some of this like kind of like I feel lesser than him sometimes. Like when it comes down to that, it's like, okay, well, like you clearly know when the draft is. You put your ass into the MLB side of things. Like, feel free to take one day off out of 365 to dedicate it to our fantasy league, you know, and that goes for Steek as well. So I am interested to see what people think as far as like, I think it should probably be mandatory for everybody to be at the draft, you know, at least for the first 10 picks.
If you do it like you did this year, it's a lot easier to do it.
I don't know. I just feel like that's just how it should be. It should be cutthroat. Like if you don't make the draft, then we're gonna X you out next year or something like that. Like this being like the last year of forgiveness for Steek. Like, all right, next year, please be there. Otherwise, like, I don't know. I guess it's just not as fun to me, like, because you're versing a computer rigged team. I mean, you could still make moves and stuff, but for the most part, that kind of ruins the entire thing. But we'll see what everybody thinks on mandatory draft.
There should be a fee. You put some money in the bucket, and the winner gets it or whatever.
You have to drop your top 3 guys and put them on waivers.
Or I wonder if you could make the auto pick to like pick a kicker first or something.
Yeah, like you have to take a kicker round 1.
So you can actually change his entire team since you're the commissioner.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the only thing that's weird is like I don't think there's a no drop list on Sleeper, so you got to be careful for that. And then like we do have that ultimate power, but you know, I was really more worried about him not setting the lineup and not participating all year, which, believe it or not, we've had in the past. So those guys get kicked out.
That used to be me. Who was the guy that wanted to kick?
Do you remember that meme I made of you when I put you in the penalty box and it was the hit the road Jack song?
That was so fun. I was laughing so hard.
Dude, I'd be just like, I don't know what it is. I just play that back sometimes. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome.
That was when I was like heavy into football. Like I had like 6 leagues going, like 2 dynasty leagues.
Damn, 6 leagues.
Oh my God.
And this was like the one that like wasn't for money. So I was just like, I don't really care.
Damn,
but
dude,
now
6 leagues.
My main squeeze.
Yeah, I thought about doing multiple leagues. I'm not like not open to it as much as I've said. I just do the one. Oh, okay. I'm getting the signal. All right, no, like honestly, I'm down, but I really want to make sure everybody in this league's here next year. So, you know. All right. So it's a late night. Let's call this thing. You guys got any words to say to the people of the Blee Blah League on your
get on the Crudcast. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Even if it's just for a bit, hop on.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you guys are all awful at fantasy. And
yeah,
we're better.
Only the Crudcast people are good at fantasy.
Yeah. So. Triple C, he likes to drink IPAs with his boys.
All right, guys. Thanks for being here.
Later.
Go Sun Devils. Go Sun Devils. All right, bye.
Love you.
Love you too, buddy.
Now my selector. This presentation was brought to you by Triple C Sports Radio.